Becca. I'm senior in Mountain View. And you're listening to the West Ada Podcast.
We always tell our students, all the college career counselors, that, every plan is okay as long as you've done the research, as long as you've educated, whether that plan is...
Making a smart choice kind
exactly.
of thing.
And
Yeah,
have
yeah,
that plan.
Yeah.
And that's what I tell kids when I'm presenting. I'll say, there's no bad plan. It's just, have you done the research?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the latest edition of the West Ada Podcast. And we are talking college and career fair, which is kind of a newer thing for us.
What is this, the fourth year,
This will be the fourth
coming
year
up in
coming
March?
up. And it's been kind of awesome to see how it has evolved. It's become a huge community event. And so if you haven't, as a viewer or listener, seen this yet, it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
and we got some great people to talk about it.
We have two awesome folks on the podcast today. We have Tammy Schneider. She's one of our college and career counselors here at Renaissance High School, and she's been with the district for 25 years.
Yeah.
So she's an expert.
Not her first day.
Yeah. And then we have Captain Tanner Cook, who is the company commander of Boise Army recruiting in this area, and he's just so smart and kind and thoughtful and encouraging, and just really someone that you'd want your kids to meet with to explore their post-secondary options.
Well, and there are so many options, and we are so glad that you're here for this conversation. Let's get to it.
Well, today we get to speak with Captain Tanner Cook with the U.S. Army and Tammy Schneider, who's one of our awesome college and career counselors just right here at Renaissance High School. Welcome, you two.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.
So great to have you both here.
It is great to have you here. I always love talking about helping our students with their futures, and you two are some people who play incredible roles in helping our kids identify their future opportunities. So
100%.
Really appreciate you. Captain Cook, do you want to share with us a little bit about your background and kind of your movement through the Army?
Yeah, certainly. So, first off, probably most importantly, I consider myself to be a Boise native. I got my start in the Army at Boise State University. Graduated
Go Broncos!
From there.
Here we go.
Go Broncos!
Here we
Bleed
go.
blue,
Go blue! All the things. Yeah.
Love it. And I commissioned as an officer in the Army as a second lieutenant in 2016.
Okay.
From there, all over the world and back, it seemed. Time in Germany, time in the East Coast, out in Virginia. I have been grateful to serve in all sorts of types of units, aviation, watercraft, everywhere in between. And all that brought me right back home to Boise to serve as the recruiting company commander for all Army recruiting. Basically from eastern Oregon through southern Idaho down into the northern half of Nevada. So get to do it right here at home, and couldn't be more excited and couldn't be more thrilled to be here with you all today.
Well, and I don't want you to feel like I'm blowing sunshine at you. I have so much respect for all of the men and women in our armed forces. So thank you for what you do.
No, thank you. Seriously, the support is felt, especially here in Meridian, here in the Treasure Valley, and I can't say thank you enough.
Well, and one opportunity I'll give you, a lot of times on this podcast, I'll say, listen, this is my opinion, Sure. And so a lot of, you're not speaking for the Army per se. These are your opinions.
Yep. My views do not necessarily reflect, but yeah, it'll be for good things talking about today. So
cool.
Well, and now you grew up in a military family, right?
I did. Yeah. I grew up as an Air Force kid. Again, all the moving around, it must have been instilled in me from a young age. But yeah, my dad, he retired as an Air Force colonel. His career led him to Mountain Home, Idaho, and that was kind of our introduction to this part of the country. And yeah,
it's cool to hear that it fostered a love of service for you. It seems like sometimes you run into people who are like, oh, I grew up and we moved all over the world, all over the country, we moved all the time. That life's not for me. But it sparked a passion for you.
It did. It sparked a passion, and I look up to my father so much. He's such a awesome. He was an awesome officer, even better father, taking us to air shows as kids. It was one of those things like, how can you not fall in love with this?
Right.
That's cool.
Grateful for the path that he started us on, and that I'm able to continue.
That's really cool. Well, and Tammy, your background, you've been in West Ada for 25 years now.
Yes.
Been there, kind of done that. Kind of give us your background. What all have you done? You're the college and career counselor at Renaissance now, but give us your background. How did you get where you are now?
Well, I'm actually homegrown as well from the area. I'm West Ada graduate.
Where'd you go to school?
Meridian High, 1991.
So go Warriors!
Long time ago, yes. And then stayed in the area because just love this area. Went to C of I, College of Idaho out in Caldwell. Graduated in 95 with a degree in psychology. Then kind of thought, well, what do I want to do with that? I knew I wanted to help people and work with specifically adolescents. And so then went on to get a master's degree for school counseling through NNU. So literally stuck to this area. Got that in 2000. And then I was hired at West Ada in 2000 and started at actually, I have to think back that far, Centennial Meridian, and then went to Eagle for a few years. And then when they opened up Mountain View, I was lucky enough to help open up that school. In between then had a couple of littles and then came back, and this position at Renaissance opened up for the college career counselor. And I just thought, what an amazing opportunity. Prior to that, I had been like a building comprehensive counselor and worked with students. And when it opened up, I just thought, oh, that is what I want to do, helping students figure out what comes after high school.
So high schoolers are kind of your jam.
The adolescents,
I mean,
yes. I love the high school age, working with those students. They're such young adults and just, it's a great job to help them, what's next and help them research their passions. And so, 9 years ago, I fell into that role at Renaissance and been there ever since.
That's so cool.
That is cool. Yeah. Well, and to have the hindsight is such a gift, right? And if we can impart some of that on our young people who just don't know, if you could just help guide them, and they're so fresh and full of opportunity. Yeah. I mean, it must be exciting helping them narrow something down, just at least their initial steps, right?
Yeah, when they come in, it's such an exciting time. But yes, it's also, some anxieties, scary. It's like, school's always been here, it's comfortable, and now you're telling me I have to go out on my own.
I got to figure this out.
Right, yeah.
All the things. Yeah,
so it's such a great time to help them with that research and exciting. And when they start finding what, catches their interest, whether like it's military or college or work or whatever that looks like for them, just being a part of that journey and helping provide that guidance, it's just amazing. I really say I've got the best job because such a fun time to help those students, those young adults, find the next step after high school.
Well, you can't have the best job because that's what Kim and I have. So
Sorry, winning.
Second, third best. Right.
Well, I mean, can you kind of give us the genesis? How did the college and career fair start? Why did we start? Where was the need, and why did we start doing that as a district?
Yeah, for sure. The college career fair, several years ago, when the college career counselors came back into the building, as far as opening those positions back up, we saw that there was a lot of college fairs out there, and even job fairs for like adults through like Idaho Department of Labor, but there was really nothing for young high school students. So several of the other high schools were trying to put together their own type of career fair, and that's when district kind of saw that as a need. And then Nikki Shepard stepped in and started kind of putting together this idea of that career fair, which then grew into the college career fair that we have now. And it started in 2022 was the first year. And it was just, we saw this need across the district to try to connect students with those community partners and get them, that experience of reaching out and talking to those different people and connecting with them, as far as on their own territory, if that makes sense, at the schools.
Yeah. Well, and it's cool that how much growth the college and career fairs had in just a short amount of time. I mean, just to kind of see the iterations of starting, at one high school, and now usually, it's held at Mountain View, just because it's kind of the access is easy, the layout's easy for all of our community partners, and we have so many community partners. I mean, Nikki opens that up early in the school year, and it starts filling up very fast, and it doesn't even occur until early March. So
it's March 5th, Wednesday, March 5th this year at Mountain View.
And that's intentional, right? Because that's a day that students aren't in school learning. So we provide busing, and so it's really great because students like to come. You and your colleagues kind of create some fun incentives to get students there.
Yeah, we the college career counselors are definitely a part of that team and support the whole college career fair process. We advertise to our students because it is on a day they're out of school, and they're able to get there by the bus shuttles that are provided from their home schools. They're able to come and check this out, but we really try to make it a fun atmosphere where, we have like a stamp card, and there's prizes and raffles. So we try to definitely get them to go there. Granted, we know it's a day off, so we want to provide that incentive. Yeah. But also once they get there, they're very excited and happy that they did take that time on their day off to come in and just to touch base with whether it's the college, the military recruiters are there, our community partners for possible careers, jobs, whatever it is that student's looking for. It gives them that chance to come in and research possibilities.
That's
But,
really cool.
Yeah, we try to make it fun, and like I said, we advertise with our students, and
it's
we have
very
a little
well
competition.
attended.
Yes,
Yeah.
we have a little competition.
There's a lot of hubbub.
So.
Well, and Tanner, obviously, Boise Army Recruiting is a great community partner. What's your role? How do you kind of identify students that might be a good fit for the Army? What's that look like?
Yeah, absolutely. And I can say this firsthand because I did attend the College and Career Fair last year, and I've got to say, just phenomenal event. I called it the military hallway. You had all the services,
Right.
kind of in one area, and it gave the opportunity for students to explore maybe what they were interested in. If they had a hunch that maybe they were interested in military service but didn't know which one, this was an opportunity to do that.
Right.
As service members, we're very, I don't want to say self-aware. We're aware that the uniform sometimes can, create separation maybe. And so it's an opportunity for students to come and talk to recruiters and begin to, humanize those individuals and
sure.
have conversation
Yeah.
it is in a low threat environment, and it is a place where they can feel safe and environments that they're familiar with, and really get to know us as people and share some of our experiences and opportunities with the students. So it is a wonderful event, and we're excited to be back again this year.
Yeah,
It'll be
well,
fun. It'll be
I know
fun.
I know that military hallway. My boys went last year, and they loved it. They came back. I mean, because you the different branches, you have a little friendly competition,
little rivalry.
rivalry
That's
going
good.
on.
Yeah.
Will you share with our listeners and viewers a little bit about what's going on in that hallway? Because it's not just like boring booths of like, here's some information about the Army, here's some information about the Marines. Like, what do you guys have going on in that hallway?
Yeah, absolutely. And it is funny that you mentioned the rivalry, because it is, recruiters in the area, you start to see the same faces. What's Jones doing here? And it is great to see. Last year, the Marine Corps, they had their pull-up bar set up. It was a competition to see who could get the most pull-ups. The Army, my shameless plug, we got the hex bar deadlift. That's new to us. And so if you want to see how many deadlifts you can knock out, come to the Army table. But it's an opportunity to share information, to see military culture at work, how we do interact with one another, the opportunities that are out there. Boise State ROTC had a presence there last year, and for those that know that they're college bound, that is an awesome opportunity to go and even take it as an elective to see if it's something that they're interested in. So a lot of energy in that hallway, a lot of excitement, a little bit of competition going on, everything you could ask for.
That's great. Yeah. Well, and shameless plug, I will put a link to last year's video. So you all, as a listener, you all can go and actually click on that link in the show notes and be able to see kind of what that looks like, because it's a cool scene.
Yeah, it is. It is a very cool scene. I walked in, I was like, "Wow, this is all for us."
Yeah.
I thought it was my college and career fair. I was like, "Oh, you did this for us."
Well, and Tammy, I don't know how you would even answer this question, but how do you really help the students kind of get a feel for like, okay, here's all the different opportunities. I mean, you talked about the bingo card or whatever. I mean, how do you help the kids kind of get a feel for all that's available?
So first we start by making sure we start advertising, obviously to students.
Marketing's a thing, yeah.
Definitely, because, like we said before, it is their day off. So having them get up and go early is, but once we market it and we have a friendly competition as well amongst schools to see, what school has the highest percentage attend. We have raffles, we have kind of rewards, but we also want to make sure that students, we know that sometimes they're not even sure where to start. So by, like you referenced that bingo card, it's really a stamp card where they are required to visit, and we want them to visit a college of some sort. And we want them to experience all the different, maybe it's military, maybe it's career, college pathway, or career workforce. So we give them that card with the hope that it kind of pushes them into checking out all the different booths. So we really are trying to give them that help to gently nudge them to say, check a lot of different booths. Don't just go to the college one. Don't just do the military. Don't just do that career work pathway. Check out all sorts of our partners. See, maybe something will pique your interest that maybe you originally didn't attend. But we're kind of their cheerleader. We're there when they walk in at check-in, and it's fun to see their faces from our buildings, and they see us there as well.
Right.
We tell them, go make sure you check out this. And because you know them one-on-one, a lot of times you're able to say, oh, so-and-so is down in the cafeteria. Make sure you go talk to their table. Or, maybe your interest is this, and they're right down there by this part of the hallway, with the hope that they'll, okay, I'm gonna go research some options and opportunities, and maybe I wasn't ever thinking of the Army, but they're right there, and they've got the the lift, and maybe I'll go check that out. And so we encourage that, and we want to be there as the biggest supporter, but also help give that guidance and push them a little bit different directions.
It's interesting, and excuse me, this is probably just an ancillary effect of the college and career fair, but a lot of employers and industry partners we speak with talk a lot about how the younger generations don't have those soft skills of being able to talk, look people in the eye, and do that kind of thing. But this is a great opportunity in a low risk, comfortable environment for our students to be able to go around, introduce themselves, ask for information, and really help with those soft skills.
And that's where that stamp card comes in handy because otherwise we've seen kids kind of walk down the middle of the hall and they don't want to look at anybody in the eye. And by saying, okay, to get into the raffle or this, but go engage and then the vendor, our partner would stamp their card saying they have to. And then the other thing we do is they have to ask so many questions to get that stamp. And we provide those questions to the students because we know, like you said, those soft skills are something they learn. What do I ask? What should I be, looking for? And so we also provide them a list of for college reps, the military, as well as our career pathway type partners. So then they know what to even ask. And so we're trying to help build those soft skills, like you're saying, where they approach somebody, and then if they're kind of confused, not sure what to ask, they can pull up their piece of paper and say, "Oh, what did you, what college or degree did you have to get in this line of work?"
Right.
So we're trying to help them learn those soft skills, ask those questions, make eye contact, and all those things because in today's day and age, everything's online, even applications.
100%.
When I want to apply for a job, I'll go to this link. So they're not really familiar with how to walk up and ask those questions. And so we're hoping to instill that at this event. Like you said, it's low risk. They can go up in a safe place and talk to different partners and start that process.
That's a good thing. Well, and Tanner, you touched on this earlier. I mean, kind of along the same lines, for kids to kind of, the uniform can be a thing, but the digital landscape, to Tammy's point, things have changed so much in the last 5 minutes, it feels like sometimes, right? How has that affected how you recruit and how you kind of do what you do?
Yeah. No, and you've seen it in Army recruiting, a transition to social media communication, where in the past it was phone calls and face to face. We've gone to social media interaction, Snapchat, Instagram, everything, and it is very interesting that becomes almost an easier way to break down those initial barriers to maybe then get that face to face interaction at the career fair. Like, I'm familiar with that sergeant's social media profile. I've seen him on Instagram, or I've seen her on Instagram.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
Yeah.
And so the Army has done a great job at transforming to, I would say, meet the modern day requirements that come with the digital landscape. United States Army Recruiting Command is actually undergoing its largest transformation in basically the history of its entire command. Working to become a more professionalized workforce that's not just recruiters, but talent acquisition specialists that are trained in human resources, who are trained with industry partners. How do we leverage Google advertisement technology to really meet the individual where they're at? And that's what I think it comes down to, is how can we best communicate with the students in a language that they're familiar with.
Discover how Magic School's innovative tools can enhance your child's learning experience from 6 to 7:30 at Centennial High School's Little Theater on February 24th, or 6 to 7:30 at Eagle High School's auditorium on March 3rd. Connect with educators, explore resources, and unlock the potential of AI in education. Learn from the West Ada School District ITC team about the safe and effective use of artificial intelligence in education. Don't miss out on this exciting opportunity to engage with our school community. We'll see you at Centennial High on February 24th or Eagle High on March 3rd.
Tanner, we were talking about social media and potential recruits following some of your teammates and stuff, and they come connect with you maybe at the college and career fair, like, hey, I follow them. And what do those next steps look like? So maybe you connect with a student at the college and career fair. What is that next opportunity to meet with your team look like?
Yeah, certainly. Well, we offer the students who are interested an opportunity to set up a follow-up appointment, and we love if parents can join. In fact, we prefer it because that's ultimately parents typically number one influencer in a student's life, and we want to first establish trust with the parents so that they know that when we do work with their student, with their child, that their best interests are at our heart. And that we've began to build a rapport with the student, began to build a rapport with the parents, and that's at that appointment is when we'll start beginning to lay out all the opportunities that are out there, because it is tough, that elevator pitch when you're at the career fair. Here's everything the Army has to offer, but you can really start to dive a little bit deeper in that secondary appointment, I should say.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That
Well,
makes
as a
sense.
mom of teenagers, and thinking about their future and careers and stuff,
Yeah.
I so appreciate that, because the last thing as a parent you want to feel is that maybe somebody's kind of influencing your child in a certain direction that you don't know about,
Sure, right.
and so to have the parents there on the front end, really supporting the decision and
Yeah.
helping their kids
Oh,
along.
yeah.
I just really, really appreciate that. So thank you for encouraging,
Yeah.
but that's not to say parents have to be, right? Like some kids don't have really engaged parents that want to be there and that kind of thing. How do you handle those situations? Does there have to be some kind of parent sign off or?
Yeah, so under the age of 18, parent signatures are required, and we have that for a reason. That's to protect the student, that's to protect the child, and make sure
Right.
that they're respect
Sure.
their parents'
Yeah.
decision to have influence over that. And so it is something we navigate by really, it goes back to that trust. We're just trying to establish trust and credibility, not only with the applicant. By this point, they've transitioned to applicant status, and but wanting to bring in the parents and show that this is good what they're pursuing. This is goal oriented. This is something that can
Right.
help the student propel them into whatever their goals and dreams are. So.
That's really cool. Well, I don't know, Tammy, you've been doing this for 25 years. I'm sure there are parents out there listening or watching and going, oh, gee, how do I help my kid navigate this? How do you really help students to start to figure out, okay, again, I'm not going to be in school next year or whatever. How do you help them figure out what's next for them?
Yeah, so, the college career counselors district-wide, we actually start freshman year. We'll start going in the classrooms. We communicate with parents, we're in your freshman classroom. We try to get in there, show them a PowerPoint of some sort, try to lay that groundwork, the foundational information, just to get them started. Keyword we try, because such a large, our main focus is always going to be your seniors, but we do try to get in every year that students are in high school to present information so that by the time their senior year comes, they're prepared. They know what they should be doing, whether it's, like I said, no matter what pathway, they kind of know where their resources are, what kind of tools. In addition, we have parents. We want them involved because, like you said, they're their biggest support. We have information events at night, for families to come in to hear about, college planning, different resources. And then that's why the career fair is so important, because that's that other, piece that parents, we provide a lot of college opportunities, but we also want to provide career opportunities as well.
Sure.
We want parents to come to this event as well. When we've had it in the past, it's been amazing when it's like a family event and mom and dad come in with their student, and they're there to help them walk through, support them, but also teach them those soft skills as well. Look them in the eye, shake their hand. We see that with the parent. But as a college career counselor, it's definitely, like Tanner said, when you have the parent there and you can create almost that support group around that student.
Oh, yeah.
It helps them feel like this process is not as scary. It's manageable. My parents, my cheerleaders are on the side helping me make a decision. When they do get closer to that senior year, you see more of that anxiety. What's next?
It's kind of ramping up, right?
Exactly.
Reality
sure.
setting in.
Yeah. Oh, wait, in a few months, I'm done.
Hold
We're
on.
seeing our seniors right now
Right.
going, oh, I can't believe we're down to, May is coming fast. And when you have parent involvement and they're included on the information we provide or the events or come in and meet with them, it just makes for such a smoother transition for that student. They're better educated. They're just ready for that next step.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And Tammy, I'm curious, you've been in the district in this kind of capacity for 25 years. So you've seen our district shift from kind of that college or career to college and career ready,
Correct, yes.
where we support every opportunity after high school.
Yes.
Can you talk about that a little bit and the positive that you've seen in that
for sure.
change?
Yes. So like you said, there was the pendulum has swung from everybody should go to college, to recognizing that we always tell our students, all the college career counselors, that, every plan is okay as long as you've done the research, as long as you've educated, whether that plan is
Making a smart choice kind
exactly.
of thing.
And have that plan.
Yeah. And that's what I tell kids when I'm presenting. I'll say, there's no bad plan. It's just, have you done the research? If you come into me, even if you say, I'm going to do a gap year. Okay, what does that look like? What does that mean? Explain to me what you're thinking. And I've had
and
one
how you're going to learn or
exactly.
advance yourself. Okay, yeah,
You know, and I've had
sure.
a student come in and say, "Oh, I've researched this. I'm going to travel here. I'm going to work here. I'm going to do this." I'm like, "Wow, you have a plan." Or I'm going to do military. I've already met with Tanner, or I'm going to get a job. I'm already working at this place, and I'm going to move up as a manager. So we want to acknowledge the fact that there's no bad plan. Like you said, there's smart choices.
Sure.
And college maybe isn't always for every student. And, you know, with trades and our wonderful CTE programs we have, we're lining students up to move on after high school with all sorts of opportunities. And like I said, as long as they've researched, they've made a smart choice, talk to recruiters, talk to colleges, and then when, you know, the time comes to make that decision, they can kind of look at all their choices and say, wow, I've really researched my options. Yeah, I'm just going to keep working at my job because I have a chance to become a manager, or you know what, I'm going to do the military, or maybe college is it because my pathway, my career plan requires that training. So just something in place that we can support them. And there's no bad choice. We tell students, let us help you. We want to accept everybody's choice for post-secondary
really
plans.
a way to empower them, right?
I was
Exactly.
just going to say empower them
Yep.
because if
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
have that buy-in, they're going to be so much more successful rather than going to college because that's what my parents said to
My
do.
parents told me
Everybody
to.
says
Yeah.
college,
Yeah.
college.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I have no idea what I'm going to do after, but buys me 4 more years.
yeah.
Well, and I don't even know if you can answer this, Tanner, but like, is there an ideal candidate, or what does the ideal candidate look like from the Army's perspective? Is that even a thing?
Yeah, no, it two-part answer. So it isn't. It isn't really the ideal candidate is the candidate who's interested, and what I mean by that is interested in learning more, not only about the Army, about the opportunities, but more about themselves. You know, what do I have to offer a team? You know, many of these students maybe they haven't been a part of the team, so they haven't unlocked that side of themselves yet, but they're seeking that. They're seeking that camaraderie. And so, are you adventurous? Maybe that reveals itself in jumping out of airplanes. Maybe it reveals itself out of being an X-ray technician. And the Army is a place to do both. And so, the ideal candidate is somebody who is interested in pursuing the opportunities, or at least learning more about it. And the rest, the Army does a pretty good job of preparing you to take on the challenges that come with it.
Well, it's kind of the same question we just asked, Tammy too. I mean, there's so many different options in the Army. How do you help students navigate that?
Yeah, there are over, I think, 150 jobs now in the Army, and really growing by the day as technology changes. I mean, we are becoming a more cyber-oriented Army, and so there's so many options out there. But really, it starts with people like you all, Tammy, is our college and career counselors. How are they unlocking that student superpower is what we sometimes say in recruiting. What is it that they're interested in? And it begins that freshman year, that time where students are beginning to find themselves for the first time, maybe in young adulthood. But there are a couple different tools that the Army uses. The ASVAB SEP Career Exploration Program is an opportunity to maybe find out what you're predisposed to, from a knowledge standpoint.
Is that a series of like tests and questionnaires and things like that, or what does that look like?
Yeah, it is. It is a test that typically schools will proctor. You have the opportunity to also take it with a recruiter specifically. We can sign you up for it. And what you'll sometimes find is a student, goes into it saying, hey, I want to be an electrician. They take the test. Oh, it turns out I didn't do so well in the electronics, but this automotive piece, I crushed it. And I kind of like the automotive industry. And you'll find that they are able to find a whole new career path. Or I need to do a little bit more work in electronics here. I really want to do this. And so it's an opportunity.
I got to step my game up, right?
Yeah, I got to step my game up.
Yeah.
So it's an opportunity for the student to set themselves maybe on a career path early on. CTE pathways have been phenomenal for the U.S. Army and students finding out what they're interested in from a young age. And so we're huge proponents of that program.
Well, I'm already seeing an alignment with we're looking at kind of what is that as far as the CTE programs and things, looking into cybersecurity.
Yeah,
and
right.
I know that's a huge piece in the military as well. So what a beautiful blend that could be.
Yeah.
So always staying ahead of the curve and on top of the trends is.
It is, and I think when you picture the United States Army soldier, you have a vision in your mind. It's G.I. Joe, it's jumping out of airplanes, but we are so much more than that. In my last job, I worked with medical doctors who all they did was study human performance and how to optimize health and wellness for our soldiers, and
cool.
integrating sleep technology and wearables to optimize the performance. And they're active duty service members. Army sent them to go and get their doctorate or their MD, whatever it might be. And
that's cool.
Yeah, they wear the same uniform that I do.
So that's really
That
cool.
is interesting.
Yeah.
Well, and I said, Tammy, we've touched on some of the hands-on stuff. I mean, obviously the military, whether it's pull-ups or whatever. What other vendors have you seen, or community partners have you seen that can really use hands-on stuff at the career fair to enhance that experience? Have you seen any other things like that are good?
Yeah, just off the top of my head, I can think of, for example, and I apologize, can't remember the exact, but we had a veterinarian type partner there, and they had actual dogs, and they were I think their booth ended up being one of the most popular because they had little
they had
dogs.
I'm sold.
I'm in, yeah.
But the kids were able to go up there, and anytime they can interact, it just brings more relevancy to them. I mean, they can touch, they can feel. It's just like the pull-up bars and your guys' bench press. But the student, that one was, they all came back going, oh, they had the puppy and we got to do this and different things. They were showing me how to check the ears, all this fun stuff. Idaho Power always does an amazing one as well, where they have, showing how electricity works and what their employees do they have a setup where kids can actually watch. And just those, anytime they can engage students that way, where they can actually see real life hands-on connection, I think you're just pulling them into, a lot of times our cosmetology schools too will also have the haircut, the
mannequin
heads, the mannequin heads,
That's awesome.
and they'll cut their hair. So I think that students kind of are drawn to those more because they actually can, try it and be like, oh, that was kind of fun. So anytime we can get that connection where students can experience maybe that hands-on, almost like a mini job shadow there at the fair. We highly recommend that just because that's just going to connect them more with that job or occupation.
Follow West Ada School District across your preferred social media channels: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Nextdoor, and YouTube. You can find us there today.
We were talking about students kind of sparking that interest in after high school. And do you find that students come back to you maybe the week after the college and career fair and are like, hey, I met so-and-so, or I talked to this organization. Can you help me find more information? And what does that look like? How are you able to help them?
Yeah, so students will come back, whether it was a college rep, a business industry partner, or military, and they'll come back and ask. We've definitely had students come in and say, oh, I talked to, use Tanner as an example. Sometimes, like I said, they feel less stress on the school, so they'll ask, can they come visit me here? Can we schedule a meeting? Like Tanner said, for example, in that situation, we always include parents because we want parents part of that process. Or they'll say, hey, a few years ago, Costco was there, and they were all excited about, I didn't know Costco, hired students, and I didn't know this. And so connecting them with that industry partner. But yeah, definitely you'll see a spark, or they'll say, I talked to University of Oregon, they were there, or BSU, or ISU, U of I. And it's fun to see that connection. It's really fun because sometimes you have more of the underclassmen. Our seniors right now at this point, they're already kind of hopefully deciding where they're going, but it is a nice event for them because if they don't, they still can come and maybe find work for the summer or connect with the college. But it's really interesting to see those younger grades, freshmen, sophomore, a lot of times come in because they're not stressed yet. They're kind of chill.
They can kind of enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they come
They're
to
just there for a good time.
Yeah, but they'll come to the event and it will, like you said, open up that, their minds on thinking, oh, that I could do that, or the spark of how would I go job shadow with that, business, and so we're able to reach out off our list or call that company or the, whomever it is and put them in connection with that student. But yeah, you do see students come in when they leave. We always ask them, so what did you think? Were you able to meet with anybody? And they're like, oh yeah, I talked to so-and-so and this, and they're offering for summer and so, or hire for summer, or wow, I asked them what they did to get to that job pathway.
Sure.
So yeah, you definitely see the light bulbs come on.
I think that's great that you brought that up too. The college and career fairs for all of our high school students and the earlier. I mean, my son was an 8th grader last year and went with my older son.
So last year when the kids came in, we kind of had them do like a quick little form just to say who are you, what grade. We were actually it's becoming a community event, not just West Ada.
Yeah.
And we had,
which is cool.
Yeah, we had 5th graders, middle schoolers.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, we had kids coming in and we're like, well, what school? And they're like, oh, Lewis Clark, Lake Hazel, Lowell Scott. We even had, I think, a 5th grader. I can't recall what elementary, but it was really neat. We had people as far as McCall They were down here and they're like,
And just saw the opportunity.
Yeah, they saw the advertisement. So it's really become a community event, but not just high school students. And even parents coming in. And I saw some of them talking to some of the industry partners and different job opportunities because they were there and they're like, you know what, we're looking for work too. So it really has become a community event from all the way, like I said, from out of the area to fifth graders all the way up to adults.
That's really cool. Well, and Tanner, I mean, community involvement is obviously a huge thing for Army recruiting. What other projects, what other things do you all do to try and get that face-to-face interaction?
Yeah, absolutely. So if there is a college and career fair, you can probably find us there. But our recruiters, man, I got a wonderful team, and you'll find them out in strength and conditioning classes with starting at middle school, just out and going and working out with students all over the valley, all over our footprint. We have former band members that go out and help with band practice.
Oh, that's cool.
And again, it goes back to that idea of just meeting the students where they're at. Because for a lot of our recruiters, 5, 6, 7 years ago, they were in that student's shoes, and so they know what that student's going through.
Know
or
what
at
it
least
feels
maybe
like.
have a closer
Yeah.
idea. And having that role model in that area, somebody who you can look up to, who was also, hey, they're interested in the same thing that I am. That far and away has been our most effective way to connect with students. And it keeps us involved, it keeps us young too, right? It's like, hey, I'm going to go hang out with the students today. And, I still got it in the weight room, this and that. So, but
let's go, guys.
Yeah,
let's go. Let's get on the bench press.
Let's go. So, no, but it is. And that has been the most fulfilling part of this job. I'm wrapping up command here in the next 4 or 5 months or so. And when I look back, those are the things that I'm going to look back on most fondly is the opportunity to connect with students in a time where connection is sometimes at a premium.
Oh, 100%.
And our recruiters have the opportunity to do that and for a lot of students change their lives. And that's a special opportunity that is not afforded everywhere, in all commands in the Army, but this one is particularly
Sounds like
special.
your job's pretty cool too.
Yeah, I just get to float around, and you're doing great, team. So
I'm curious, does your team ever come to you with some great ideas? Like, hey, we heard about this community event. What do you think? Can we participate?
Yes, absolutely. If there is a good idea that our company is doing, it's because it came from the team. Awesome. I try to do my part, but it is largely them seeing things and being present in the community and saying, hey, I want to be a part of that. I think my favorite one is we did a fiddle competition out.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. Showed up. One of my recruiters said, hey, I always wanted to play the fiddle. I've never played it, but could I go set up a booth at this fiddle competition?
Was that like in Weezer or something?
It was, yeah.
I feel like
the
Weezer has a
Weezer
fiddle,
thing.
yeah.
I couldn't remember if that was the Cherry Festival or Weezer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
And
That's
so
cool.
it's awesome. And that's, that is the Army that we are representing. It is representative of our nation, of our population. And
that's cool.
And again, it's not that one size fits all. It's, all walks of life, all backgrounds, all interests join in our Army. And that's what makes it so special.
Well, and Tammy, I loved hearing you talk about the younger kids that were coming in. I mean, this college and career fair, it's still pretty young. How is it evolving? What are we doing to make it better or different? Can you speak to that?
Yeah, it's, so this is our 4th year this year, and it continues to evolve and grow. We're definitely reaching out, trying to find more ways to connect with partners in the community. We do a great job advertising. Obviously, we reach out to the previous attendees, but we also put on our website. But we're also trying to, how do we broaden that, throw the net out and get more partners to come in. Yeah. So, for example, the college career counselors actually have been going through the list and going, maybe we're missing, are all areas represented? Do we have enough medical? Do we have enough military, college, engineering, whatever it is we're looking at, automotive? Do we have enough partners that are covering that? Or is there an area maybe we're missing? And so we're trying to reach out with our connections as well. But it's definitely growing. I think it's becoming one of those events yearly that people look forward to.
Yeah.
So we just want to continue it to grow, provide those students and families, and like I said, our community partners with an event where they, not only from our side with students, but also those partners coming in that's going to give them those connections with students to fill their needed jobs and their different positions that they're looking for. Because we have great kids in West Ada. And so we want to provide that connection to that both sides, the partners as well as our students. So as it grows, we look at ways of, how can we make it better? What can we do to better meet the needs, especially with times changing, like you said, as far as 4 years ago, things were maybe a little different than they are now. So what do we need to do to evolve with it? With the times changing.
And the kids' perspective changes, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And like you said, growing those community partners, we have, we run a community collaborative here at the district with district partners and community service organizations, lots of nonprofits, and we send the college and career fair announcement out to them. So how do we get those nonprofit partners in? And because that's an avenue that our students might be interested in as well. So
yeah, for sure.
Team effort.
Well, and this is kind of maybe an ethereal question or whatever, but I really want to, when I talk to people who love kids, like one of the cliche is, hey, you better get comfortable being uncomfortable. How do you all go about like challenging kids or students to be like, let's get uncomfortable and try something different? Tanner, can I start with you? How do you do that?
No, it does, and it there's an element. It seems like it maybe gets a little bit tougher every year, but that's a good callback for me to remember. Maybe I need to also step out of my comfort zone, and again, I'll go back to it again and again. Meet the kids where they're at. Meet the students where they're at. And it is a call to try something new. But I think it begins with familiarity. It begins with trust. Hey, this person says I might be good at this. I kind of want to give it a try. I trust this person, so I'm going to step out of my comfort zone and go do our weekly training with our local Army recruiting office and go do some push-ups, or I'm going to, join them on this hike that they're doing, or whatever it might be.
Opportunities like that are available, so kids can come kind of hang out with the recruiters and see them in different places and that kind of thing.
Yeah, and we want to make it as not relaxing, that's the wrong word, but as much of an opportunity for them to just come and be themselves and not feel like they have to go to boot camp or basic training every time they talk to us. But it is an element that you're able to see a different side of the Army, and we love seeing the students that do choose to get out of their comfort zone and go give it a try.
Try something new.
Yeah.
Well, just like it kind of goes back to what you said about soft skills, having students move out of their comfort zone. One of the prime examples I can think of is when I'm working with a student who has questions, maybe on a application or whatever it may be, and I'll say, well, let's call them, or are you comfortable calling them? And they get this look like, I text and I email. Well, not even really email anymore, but I text.
An instant message on social media.
Yeah, I don't. So when you say, well, let's call them, and then we offer, like you said, reminding myself to put myself where they're at, because calling somebody for them is very foreign. They just have never really had to do that. So we'll put it on speakerphone and we'll dial it up, and we sit there together, and I kind of help mirror, model what it should look like.
Sure.
And then I'll tell the student, okay, well, you'll have to talk to them because they won't give me your information. But just being there and helping, teach them that and model that behavior is like, okay, hi, this is so-and-so from, we just have some questions. And the same when we go to the fair as well. That's why we provide that list of questions, because we want to give that student a launching point when they walk up to say, oh, how did you decide to get into the Army? Or so that way they have like a script.
Yeah,
something that helps
because it's
them.
hard to
When
so
you're
to
16,
empower
17.
them to empower them to do that. Yeah. I remember when my son was in, I think, middle school, and trying to get him on the phone to have a conversation with people, it was a thing. He was like, I'm nervous. I'm like, and now he's a great public speaker and all the things, but trying to help them get through that.
We're teaching them that, and that's what our goal is to teach them those soft skills, is to provide that role model so they can see it and go, oh, okay, I don't have to be afraid to make that phone call, or it's okay to go work out and hang out with, the military if they've invited me, and to step out that comfort zone and do something new, because like you said, it just leads to bigger and better things that they're learning. So.
And I think something that's important for our young people to know is it's okay to pursue different options. Just because I'm talking to an Army recruiter and I want to go work out and with you guys and check it out more doesn't mean that I've committed. This is what I'm doing, but I'm feeling it out. I'm exploring this job opportunity. I might, do that for a year or two. And so letting them know that it's okay. You're not stuck in the first thing you show interest in.
And very often I have kids come in and say, I talked to them, but now I feel bad. And like I said, whether it's a college representative or a recruiter or even an employer, I feel bad. And I'm like, it's okay. Just be honest and upfront and share that. Yeah, I was kind of checking out my options. It doesn't mean you're locked into anything. You have to do what's best for you, research, investigate what's out there, but also teach them. It's another soft skill of saying, well, I appreciate your time, but no, thank you.
Right?
Yeah.
And that is something too that we can't spread that message enough. Like we want students to know that it is a period of exploration, until they decide otherwise. Because what we don't want is somebody to join, whether it's the service or, I'll speak for industry as well, and have it be the wrong fit.
Right.
Oh, right.
Yes.
Right.
Or the wrong service or the wrong job, because then chances are at the end of their 4 years, they're probably not going to,
Yeah.
It's not going to
have
work.
a ton of great
Yeah.
things
Yeah.
to say. So
Yeah.
we want them to find that right fit. And I think doing this, having conversations like this is the way to do that. Connect the school and the counselors to the military,
Right.
to industry. And,
Right.
and all of a sudden you have this ecosystem that just works.
Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, this is an impossible question, so you all can say, "Hey, Ken, I can't answer this question." But any of those, do you have any stories where you're like, "Oh, wow," where you literally saw the light bulb go on with a kid or a recruit? Like any stories like that, Tanner? You're kind of nodding your head.
I do. It was at the college and career fair last year where I eventually picked up on that they had the cards. At first I was like, oh, that's a really good question, huh?
Yeah, and it's not a bingo card. Thanks for saving me
Yeah.
on the stupid terminology, but yeah, the stamp card or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the card's getting referenced early on in the conversation, and then I had said something. I don't know what it was, but it was something that this individual connected with. It seemed on a deeper level, and the card kind of went into the pocket. The exchange started happening a little bit more
And
back and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it was again that you provide the students the tools, you provide them the opportunity, and it is amazing, the conversations that will happen that are able to blossom just in that short little 5-minute interaction. And so I think that student was a junior here in West Ada. So
That's cool.
I've seen the one example I think of as a student who maybe didn't have the highest GPA. Sometimes kids have the idea that, if I've got a certain GPA, I won't be able to go to college or I won't be able to do certain things. And for them to talk to different college representatives and find amazing opportunities and experiences with maybe some of our wonderful community colleges in the area.
Right.
And they start talking to them and they're like, oh, I can do, just because I have below a certain GPA doesn't mean, oh, I'm gonna have to go work. No, oh, wait, there's all these amazing programs. And I think seeing that light come on in those students' eyes when they go, oh, just because I have a certain GPA, there's still so many opportunities for me to pursue.
I still have options.
Right, yeah. And I like I kind of compare it to telling students that our goal is to make sure you have a lot of doors to choose from.
Oh yeah.
And like you said, you explore, you find different opportunities, whether that is, 4-year, 2-year colleges, whether it's trade schools. We have some amazing trade schools in the area. Our CTE program students are coming out, just ready to go. The military option. So there's so many great, and so when you see that student who maybe is like, I'm not good at school and there's really not a lot. I guess I'll just go work and, start at entry level. And then they start going, oh, wait. And so seeing
There
that,
is a path.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That light bulb moment when they go,
yeah.
oh, I can still go to that place or that school or that program and be just as successful as somebody who, gets into a 4-year college.
Right.
And it's just, that's been probably the best memory from that college career fair.
It's really cool.
Well, the goal is just to help our kids
Exactly.
launch in the best direction we possibly can.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, can't thank you guys enough. Is there any, before we turn off the microphones, is there anything that we haven't covered that you're like, hey, Ken, Katie, we should talk about X, or did we get there?
I have one, and this is really a shout out to the community. In West Ada alone, we have already nearly met, shy of one, our total high school enlistments from the previous 2 years. So since, and this is fiscal year, so since October, more kids have chosen to join the Army than in the previous 2 years combined, or just right there on the cusp. And so that is credit due to the parents. That is credit due to the counselors and the faculty that goes out of their way to put on such an awesome event. Is we are seeing the growth. And
that's cool.
I don't look at those enlistments as contracts or numbers. I truly look at them as opportunities that those students were given. And so that is in large part due to this team here at the table and the rest of the West Ada team. It is a special thing to witness, again, having it be so close to home for me. So.
I think that's a testament to the heart of our community, right? That so many are willing to serve.
We've got some amazing
Yeah.
educators and counselors and all the things. Yeah.
And the college career counselor kind of piggyback on what Tanner's saying. We know the college career fair happens one time a year, and it's a huge, wonderful event that we hope all the parents and students take the opportunity and come check everything out. But also throughout the year, we know that we still have partners, community partners, the military that come into our schools. So if a student misses for some reason this event, we try to bring that in as well at their comfort level at the school. So for example, I have military recruiters of all the different branches that come in once a month. We do provide the ASVAB, which is the test that Tanner was talking about. Both all the schools do a fall and a spring.
Okay.
Because we want students to see that career exploration tool. It's not just military, but it's also just a career exploration tool that they can use to help research other opportunities. But we also bring in employers if they want to come in, and different trade schools and colleges. So in addition, this event's great because it brings it all centralized one big day. But throughout the year,
one-stop shop, yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
Right,
But throughout
yeah.
the year, we do try to meet needs of students, because maybe in the, they miss the fall, they have questions, or in the spring after the fair. So as college career counselors, we still try to make sure that we bring those partners on to our campuses to talk to kids who maybe want, research some more opportunities.
Our kids are so blessed. I didn't get to hear about different careers and things like that till I was in college, and to be able to do that at the high school level, it's such a benefit.
Great, yeah.
Not bad to be a parent here either.
No, it's not. I'm grateful.
Well, can't thank you enough. Thank you both for what
Thank
you
you.
do
Thank
and
you.
how you do it. It's pretty darn cool. Captain Cook, again, thanks for your service. It's just really cool to have all you be a part of this.
Yeah, no,
thank
thank
you.
you for the support. Thank you for having us.
Yes, and thank you guys both for having us so we could share all the awesome opportunities.
Well, again, just to have two people who are so good at what they do and trying to help kids navigate what's
truly
next.
care about our kids' next steps. It's it's so special.
Yeah,
to
well,
have that opportunity.
It's great, and we appreciate their time and their conversation, and we appreciate you being here as well. If you wouldn't mind, please subscribe and listen wherever you get your podcast, Spotify, Google, Amazon. If you listen on iTunes, rate us and leave a review, or go to YouTube and you can watch the episode. Oh, and I didn't say this, but I will put the link again to the College and Career Fair. So if you haven't seen what we've been talking about, go into the show notes and check that out, because it really is such a great opportunity for you and for your kids.
Yeah. And then also plan to join us on March 5th this year. It'll be a good time.
Yeah. Well, so today's question, we want to hear from you. For students and parents attending a college and career fair filled with post-secondary opportunities, what is the best strategy to make the most of it and set the stage for a successful future? Because I don't know, Katie, in our house, we're always talking about, okay, how do we navigate what's next? And it's an important thing for parents.
Well, and balancing what are you interested in,
Right.
and kind of getting that buy-in from your student, so that they're excited about their next steps. And so I think that could be a great conversation piece. So definitely reach out to us at communicate@westada.org and let us know what you think.
Yeah, or on social media. But we'd love to have, especially you all who have been a part of this, share your experiences, because we're trying to, as always, we're trying to help those who are coming along behind us to navigate this West Ada thing, because there's a lot going on and it's a lot of good stuff, but it's not sometimes easy. So we want to help you to do that. And as always, to learn more, listen to past episodes, you can visit westada.org/podcast. And as always, we've got another great...
I know, we always do.
Yeah.
We have fun podcasts. Every time we have a podcast, I'm like, that was the best one. Our
another
guests
good
were
one's
so
coming.
awesome. We have another great coming up. We
Yeah.
have Kelly Davies.
Yes.
She's our Director of Assessment and Achievement. And then Dave Harrison, he's the district's Assessment and Achievement Coordinator. They really work together to make sure that our kids are having an opportunity to show what they know.
Right.
And so testing is an important part of education and being able to show what you know. So we'll have that great conversation with them on our next episode.
It'll be a lot of fun. Can't wait. And as always, we just appreciate you being here, and we'll see you next time.